You've got a property to sell, you've probably got a lot of questions. Well, you're in luck. I've got some answers. And I want to dive in today to some of the main questions that sellers ask me when getting a property ready to list. I am back with more answers to your seller questions. Let's dig right in. Number one, how long does it take to get my house on the market? Depending upon your timeline, it can take months, weeks, or days. If your house is ready to sell and you've decluttered and photos can be scheduled, generally I tell my customers I can get everything ready in a week or two. And that's when we have the luxury of time. If you're coming to me and saying, hey, it's Tuesday and it has to be listed by Friday, I'm gonna get it done. But usually I like a week or two to make sure that photos can be scheduled, staging can be done, and all of my marketing can be put together. Number two, how do open houses work? Open houses are a great tool to get as many eyes on your property as possible. When you list a house, the most popular and hottest time is going to be right in the beginning. So I recommend that you give your realtor access to your home for the first weekend that it's listed. Now, of course, you don't have to have an open house, it's not required, but again, it can be a really great tool to get eyes on the property, which is going to give you more offers. Here's how they work. Your agent and you will select a day and a time that works best for both of you. And that can be anything. It can be in the morning, it can be in the afternoon, it can be for 3 hours, it can be for 6 hours. But I highly recommend that you vacate the property. If you have any pets, take them along with you and just allow full access to your home when your realtor's there. The realtor will market the open house, they'll blast it out on social media, they'll put up lots of signs the day of and hopefully get a ton of traffic. If you live in a really popular area or a highly dense area, it's always good for your realtor to have a partner in crime as well. And if they're on a team, they'll probably have an associate that's with them, or maybe they'll just borrow another realtor from their office. Because during an open house, the people who are walking in should always be with an agent to make sure that they're touring the property safely and that all of your belongings are safe and sound as well. At the end of the day, the realtor will pack up and they'll start their lead follow-up. They should be getting the information of anybody who's coming in the door so that they can find out whether or not they want to make an offer on your home. And when it comes to open houses, they're kind of like potato chips. You don't have to have just one. You can do a series over the weekend several times. If your house is on the market for a while, you can do one every single weekend. Just talk with your agent about what you're both comfortable with. Number three, how will showings work? When showing your property, it depends on what you're comfortable with. If the home is vacant, generally your agent will put a lockbox on there, and I definitely recommend using one of the Bluetooth lock boxes. It's a little bit more safe and secure. A combo box sometimes is required in rural areas that don't have a great signal, but if possible, that Bluetooth box is going to make sure your agent knows who's in and who's out. Because once the code gets out into the ether, who knows who's popping in. Again, if the home is vacant, you may have it where an agent can show literally any time. If you're living in the home though, you want to have a strategy for you and your agent. Do you have kids and pets, and do you need at least 24 hours notice to get everything ready? Or perhaps you can get out of the house super easy and you only need an hour. Whatever it is, the agent's going to put that in the private remarks so other realtors know how they can best set up an appointment. I can tell you though, flexibility is key. The easier it is to access your home to show it, the faster it's going to sell. Number four, should I be present for showings? No, please go. And I say that with love. Get out, leave. I have shown many houses where the sellers were there. And is it a total nightmare? Not usually, but it's just kind of awkward. Even if you're super nice and welcoming and you try to stay out of our way, I can always feel my buyer kind of tense up and feel uncomfortable. They feel like you're looking over their shoulder and they don't want to look in closet doors or ask me questions or give me any feedback. A lot of times the showings are super short because they just want to get out of there. So do yourself and your agent a favor and leave for showings if at all possible. There's always exceptions to every rule, but if you can, give the buyer free space to imagine what their life would look like in it and not trying to scoot around yours. Number five, what if I want to keep the chandelier? When you're selling your property, there are certain items in your home that buyers are just going to assume convey with the property. It's a good idea to look at the sales contract because usually in the first page, there's a little paragraph that discusses things that stay with the property unless otherwise noted, like your refrigerator, your dishwasher, your disposal, your stove. Those kinds of things are expected to convey. Now, where the arguments tend to come in are like anything hanging from the ceiling, drapes, rods. If you want to keep anything like that, you want to make sure you disclose that right up front. Remember that seller's disclosure we talked about? That's a good opportunity to talk with your agent about what stays, because you have every right to keep your grandmother's chandelier, but you have to tell the buyer that when they move in, it's not going to be there. Number 6, do I have to accept an offer when it comes in? You sure don't. If an offer comes in and perhaps it's not quite what you were expecting, or maybe it's downright insulting. When an offer comes in, you as a seller have a few choices. You can accept it. You can counter back, which is to say, hey, thanks for this offer, we're gonna counter with X, Y, and Z. Or you can reject it. You can just flat out say no, or you can say nothing at all. Sometimes silence is the best response. Number 7, what if there are multiple offers? Congratulations, that is exactly what you want when you're selling a property. If you get more than one offer, guess what? You now have choices, and that's exactly what you want when you're selling your home. When multiple offers come in, again, you and your realtor should have a strategy. You should have a certain day and time that offers are due, and you should make sure that your agent is communicating with the buyer's agents that, hey, there's now multiple offers. Are you sure this is your customer's highest and best? Highest and best, 3 very important words, because you want to give those buyers an opportunity to come with their best foot forward, because a rising tide lifts all boats and multiple offers usually escalate the price. Number 8, how do backup offers work? When you have more than one offer and you're sorting through which one you want to go with, once you officially accept an offer, get everything signed, sealed, and delivered, you can talk with your agent about accepting a backup offer, or 2, or 3. Think of a backup offer kind of like an insurance policy. You really hope you don't need it, but it's there if something goes south. A backup offer can be done by, again, signing the offer as it comes in, but having the buyer's agent attach a backup rider. Now, the buyers have to agree to be a backup, but it's definitely worth doing because, again, you never know what's gonna happen in real estate. The other thing that it offers you is the ability to make sure buyer number 1 stays on task. If they start to ask for too much, it's always very nice to say, well, that's great, we're not going to do that because we have a backup. And if you're looking for a little bit more information on the benefits of a backup when you're a seller, check out my video on just that. But wait until we finish these last 2 tips because I promise they're really good. Number 9, how do I know which offer is the best? When you're reviewing offers, there's going to be a lot of different things that come at you. Price, closing date, contingencies, escrow deposits. There are so many things that can determine the strength of an offer, and it's not just price. Lean on your agent because they're going to be able to sort of give you the pros and cons of the offers as they come in. Perhaps one has a really, really high price, but only a $500 escrow and an appraisal contingency. Well, sometimes those really high prices can be fool's gold if the buyer's relying on the bank to bring the price down with the appraisal. Just remember to review all the details. If they're getting financing, who's their lender? Are they good? Because anybody can put a contract on a house and any lender can say the buyer is pre-approved, but not all of them can actually get it to the closing table. And it doesn't matter how great the offer is, what matters is whether or not they can finish it at the end of the day. Number 10, how long does it take a buyer to close? Once the contract is effective, meaning everybody has signed and that signed copy has been delivered to all parties. That's an important detail. Just because you've signed everything doesn't make it official. It's only official once that signed copy gets delivered to the other side. But once that happens, typically you can expect 30 to 45 days to close. That can vary. If they're a cash offer, for example, I've seen closings as fast as 10 days because there's not a lot of stuff to do with the lender. And sometimes I've seen closings go as long as 90 days or 120 days. It kind of depends upon your area, so ask your agent what's normal. But in our area here, 30 to 45 days is usually what we see. Bonus round. Can I still call you or text you if there's questions that I haven't had answered yet? Absolutely. That is why I'm here. I've got a heart of a teacher and I love educating people throughout this process. So if there's a question that I haven't touched on, feel free to ask it. You can put it in the comments below, you can send me a direct message or contact me directly. I'm here to help and no question is too small. So there it is, another batch of questions that I get all the time from my sellers. I hope today's video has helped you out and given you a little bit more comfort when selling your property. And if you want to see some more videos all about selling property, I have covered a lot of different content. So please be sure to check out my seller series. I'm Lindsey Johnson, your resource for all things real estate. See you next time.